are you all doing today? So today we're going to be doing something a little bit different. I'm going to be interviewing my boyfriend, Cailan Jones, and he is a dental student. He's right here.
Hey.
We're going to ask him a couple questions about dental school, the process of getting into dental school, and what dental school is like. So yeah, let's get right into the video. Alright Cailan, let's get down to the nitty-gritty about dental school. So my first question, and the most important one, is it true that dental students don't have any social skills?
It's very true. I can hardly get up in the morning and talk to myself in the mirror.
Great. Perfect. That's what we wanted to hear. Okay. Alright guys, we're going to start off by asking him a couple questions. This is just going to be a fun Q&A today, so we're going to learn all about dental school. The first question I have for you is, what made you decide to choose this career path?
Well, I feel like for me personally, the path to dental school for me was kind of laid before me, and it wasn't too much of a hard decision for me. My dad he's a dentist in Bardstown, and ever since I was young, dentistry has always interested me. And then growing up, going through high school, I had a couple ideas of other things that I might want to do, like engineering, but in the end, I just always came back to dentistry, and that's what happened.
Sounds good. So you like teeth?
I like teeth. I like pearly whites. I like to keep them pearly white for other people.
Brush your teeth, friends.
Twice a day.
So what are the pros and cons of dentistry in your mind?
Pros. It's a very great leadership position in the community. I mean, a lot of people are looking up to you and they're trusting you to know how to take care of their teeth and to have the knowledge and the skill to help them in their life. Because, believe it or not, your mouth is very important to your life. It helps you eat, helps you talk, helps you breathe, all these very important things, and a dentist is kind of at the forefront of making sure everything's good in the mouth. Another pro, it's a well-paying job, pretty stable one, especially in Kentucky. A lot of people need their mouth fixed, so yeah, no, it's a good stable job to have. Cons, you have to make it through dental school.
Will he make it? Stay tuned.
That's to be decided.
Would you say another con is maybe the debt of dental school?
Yeah. 100%. Going to dental school, I'm actually in-state tuition, which is a lot better than most people that go to dental school because it's only half the amount of tuition most people from out of state have to pay. But yeah, you will pull out an outrageous amount of loans and you will be paying it off for quite a while, which is also kind of why dentistry has to pay you as much as it does because you got a lot of ground to make up.
Yeah, that's true. And luckily the salary will make up for the debt.
You hope.
One day, you hope.
I'd say another pro is if you enjoy it, it's a really fun job that you can do every single day. One of my favorite parts about dentistry is just the hands-on. When I was a kid, I used to love building Legos. Like, that was my favorite thing to do. And when I was growing up and in high school, I thought I was going to be an engineer because I love building things, I love architecture, I love all of that. But didn't like math, that's a problem. So dentistry kind of worked its way back into my life again because it's super hands-on. You have to be very technical, very technique sensitive, and very attention to detail. And that kind of just fit right in with what I love to do.
That's a good answer. Next question. What are some dental school necessities in your mind?
Coffee. Lots and lots of coffee.
Really? So do you spend 95% of your days drinking coffee to stay awake to study?
On average, I probably have 2 cups of coffee a day. 1 in the morning, 1 in the afternoon. But if I have a big exam coming up, like I do this next Friday, I will down 3 to 4 cups a day for a whole week.
Oh. So it's safe to say you're addicted to caffeine?
Absolutely.
Great.
Necessity.
And I noticed that your mug said hot AF. You want to elaborate on that? Is there anything you have to say for yourself?
Essentials.
Pink is a man's color.
It is.
Actually, that's my mom's mug. Anyway, so talk a little bit about your application process in getting into dental school, how yours was different from other people's, and then kind of what the normal process would be.
Well, like I said, after I decided engineering wasn't going to be my career path in high school, I had a very unique opportunity to pursue dentistry in high school. My senior year, our student counselor told me about this program you could apply to at U of L, University of Louisville, which is where I went to for undergrad. And this program was called ULE. What ULE was is you had this very long and lengthy application process where you do lots of shadowing, you have a big application, and you have to submit it. And the premise of ULE is if you get accepted, you have automatic acceptance into U of L dental school if you maintain certain requirements like GPA GPA, and you get the required DAT score. So I was actually accepted into it, where after they accepted my application, I had to go to the dental school as a senior in high school and interview in front of a teacher, a staff there, a doctor there, and a fourth year student. And there were 40 people out of the 2,000 that applied that got to go to the school. And then I think only 15 to 20 of those were even accepted into the ULE program. And then the requirement of the ULE program was you had to go to U of L for undergrad, you had to maintain a 3.3 GPA, which is now you have to maintain a 3.5 GPA. They upped the scaling. And then you had to get the national average DAT score, the entrance exam to the dental school. You had to get the national average, which I can't remember, I think it was 20 on the DAT.
Yeah, I think it was.
Yeah.
And what did you get?
21.
Yeah, 21!
Which 20 is actually a really good score. It's actually really hard to get. Like, you can get accepted into dental school with 18s, sometimes even 17s, depending on how competitive it is.
So you're an overachiever. Got it.
No.
We got it.
Not
we
at all.
See you. Okay. So what is the normal process?
So that it's very similar to, but it differs from the normal application process for dental school. Now, I don't know all of the details and specifics because I didn't have to actually go through with it, but from my understanding is you go through undergrad normally, and you're not in any special program or anything like that, and you can go to any undergrad you want to in the US. When it's your junior year, you start applying to dental schools. And a lot of different dental schools have different requirements to apply. It's usually a lengthy application process with a fee, very high fee. So you have to kind of pick and choose which dental schools you want to apply to. And then you have to have so many shadowing hours. You have to have a good GPA. And on top of it, you have to have a good DAT score. The difference between my route and the other route for other people is mine was guaranteed if I hit the benchmark. So if I got a certain DAT score and I kept a certain GPA, there's automatically a spot reserved. As for everyone else, it's kind of up in the air. You want the highest possible score and the highest possible GPA to keep you the most competitive.
Because you had ULE, you didn't apply to any more schools other than U of L.
Correct. I knew I had the requirements that I needed, and I knew I wanted to go to the U of L dental school because I've gone to U of L undergrad. It's pretty close to home. I like the area. I like the dental school because it's actually a really prestigious dental school in the area. So it just all worked out.
So what does U of L stand for those of us who don't know?
University of Louisville.
Okay, so he goes to University of Louisville in Kentucky. That's
And
where he's at.
that's how you say it, Louisville.
Not Louisville, Louisville.
Or Louisville.
Louisville. Louisville. Okay, moving on. So what year are you in dental school right now?
I'm what you call a D2, which means I'm in my second year of dental school. In most dental school programs, there are 4 years that you go through: D1, D2, D3, and then finally D4. So I'm about halfway through the process so far.
So that means you had 4 years of undergrad and 4 years of graduate school. Just so you guys know, which you probably already do. What were your classes D1 year?
Oh, you made me think really hard about this one.
So what were some of your classes your first year in dental school?
One big class my D1 year was histology. That was a pretty tough class. It's, they show you slides of different kinds of cells and different tissues in the mouth, how the process works, and then you're examined on it. They show pictures that all look the same. They're all pink and purple, and you're supposed to be able to tell what kind of cells, where in the mouth it is, how it develops, all the other crazy stuff. So that was a pretty tough class. Physiology, that was another class. Actually, I really enjoyed that class. I had one of the best teachers I've ever had, Dr. Metz. She was a great teacher, and you actually learn a lot in that class. It's probably one of the ones that was hard, but if you kept up the material, it felt very doable. Another class we had our D1 year was anatomy, and that's where you go to the cadaver lab. You dissect a cadaver, and you learn all about different muscles, different nerves, and it's kind of like full body, like from the head all the way down to the waist. So you learn a lot of different stuff. You don't go past the legs. In my opinion, you probably shouldn't go too far past the chest, but we went over everything from the torso all the way to the head and tips of the finger. Very interesting class though, very interesting. Let's see, one of the first classes that kind of felt pretty hands-on in dental school was operative. That's what it's called. Basically, you just start learning the basics of dentistry. One of the first things you do at U of L that's hands-on is you start waxing. It's called waxing lab. And you're given this stud, this stud of a tooth, and you're supposed to take wax and shape a tooth into the form it's supposed to be. And so you really have to know how the tooth is supposed to be shaped, dimensions, the width, the height, the contours, everything about it. And that's what they're trying to test you on. not whether you can make a tooth, but whether you know it well enough that you can make it. You have to know the information in order to make it look perfect. And then also you begin drilling in that class too, which is very important in dentistry. Where you start picking up the high-speed handpiece, low speed, and start getting down to the nitty-gritty dentistry details. And then, just a lot of smaller classes. Those are the main big ones for the most part for D1 year. And then you just have things like preventative dentistry, you learn about caries, cavities, how to prevent them, how they work, how they operate, infection control, how to properly set up your cubicle to prevent spread of infection from patient to patient, how to clean up, do's and don'ts in the dental clinic, evidence-based decision making that just starts introducing you into seeing a problem and how you would solve that problem in dentistry. And that's just the introduction to it, and we have a lot of classes now in D2 year that go a lot more in depth. Periodontics, growth and development, how your mouth grows and forms from a very early age until you've reached adulthood, just how they develop, in what order, what sequence, how they grow, all that good stuff.
And memorizing when
eruption
kids get
patterns,
their baby teeth and when they lose their baby teeth and then
right,
keep their permanent teeth.
What's normal, what's not normal, which very ambiguous because the normal is an average, but there's lots of extremes, so you just kind of base it on the average for the most part. That's the gist of it.
Okay, better. Okay-ish. Okay, I think this is good. All right, I decided to change things up. Now I'm behind the camera so that you can see more of Cailan and kind of stare at him. Great. Yeah, you drink your hot AF. Wait, let's zoom in on his mug really fast because that's the most important part. Wow, that's really interesting. Anyway, great. Next question.
Okay.
Which year was harder, in your opinion? D1 or this year that you're in, D2 year?
1000%, without a doubt, this year. Dental school really does a good job, at least at U of L, introducing you into the chaos of dental school, because dental school can be chaotic all the time. D1 year, it's a huge step up from undergrad, huge step up, but in the moment, you'll think it's like impossible and that it's hard, that you have no time on the weekends, no social life at times. But then you go to the next year and you just realize how much harder it actually can be. And so it's like a stepwise. You just have undergrad, which is like your difficulty, probably one of the harder things you've done in your life so far. And then you go D1 year, which is a pretty significant jump up. D2 year, and then D3 and D4, from what I understand, D3 is a big step up too, but only because you're working with patients and it's just a whole new different kind of stress that you have to get used to. And then D4, from my understanding, is more relaxed. You have more time to work with just patients, not as hard book-wise, but you're still studying for boards at that time, so there's still a lot of stress. It's just different.
What classes are you taking this year, your second year of dental school?
A lot.
And what are the standouts? Like, what are the ones that are really hard? Which are the ones that you're like, this is a breeze?
Well, this semester is kind of special in that since COVID happened, some classes that we would normally have in the fall and the summer have been either postponed halfway through or completely pushed all together to spring semester. So at this point, I think some classmates have totaled it up. We have 36.5 credits this semester. 36.5 credits for classes. And I don't even know how many classes. It's like 11, 12, something like that. I don't even know. But
wow, that's a lot.
it's a bit. It's too much. But let's see. Some of the classes that really stand out. I have an exam on Friday over oral pathology, which is kind of notorious for being one of the hardest classes at dental school. That's definitely a big one. I actually don't know. I think that class by itself is like 6 or 7 credit hours, but it's very extensive, very complicated, very difficult, and sometimes you just feel like you don't have enough time. Some of the other classes we have this semester, removable partial dentures, it's something you learn about your D1 and beginning D2 year, that is actually a thing, and then you start actually practicing it, and that's a hands-on one. You're making a denture that a patient is able to remove and put back into their mouth. You're learning how to design it, how to send it to a lab, how to tell them how to fabricate it, all that good stuff. Another good one class is called fixed prosthesis. That's a good class. It's where you take earlier classes from last semester where you learn how to make crown preps, which is another thing you learn about, and you start learning how to make the appliances that go on top of bridges. And that's just a really fun class to learn about. There's a lot of interesting stuff. It really feels like it pertains to dentistry. You feel like you're actually getting into it and learning some very substantial stuff and not just classwork. So those are some of the pretty big classes for me right now.
So what is your favorite class right now?
So I think my favorite class as of right now is fixed prosthesis. I like that class a lot just because the crown prep that you have to do for all of the fixed prosthesis in that class is something that I feel like I do pretty well, and I enjoy doing it. It just clicks. And you'll find that out when you go to dental school. There's things that just click with you and things that you're just like, it's just not clicking. You just have to put more time and effort into it. But this is just one of the ones that I feel like just clicked with me, and I feel very confident about it, and I feel comfortable progressing in that class, and I never feel like I'm behind, but it's one that I enjoy a lot.
What is your hardest class so far in dental school, and why?
Hardest class in dental school so far was definitely last semester. It was general pathology, build up to this semester's oral pathology. The reason I don't say oral pathology is because I haven't had an exam in this class yet, so I can't exactly say if it's harder, feels harder, but I don't know yet. But general pathology was just a hard class in general because it's so in-depth, it's complicated, it's extensive, and you're so busy with all these other dentistry classes where you're doing hands-on things, you're doing lab work, you have all these other smaller classes that you have weekly quizzes in. It's so hard to just sit down and focus on one class for weeks at a time. You always feel like you're trying to catch up at times. General pathology is one of the ones that I struggled the most with that class of any of the classes I have so far.
Would you say also because it's very detail oriented, like you said, so it's focusing on the minute differences between each lesion in the mouth, right? Or on your body, I guess, in general.
Yeah. No, it's very specific because the differences between one pathology and another pathology in the body is like super small. Some of them are like pretty much identical except for one small thing. So you have to know not just the big fancy words that are very complicated, you also have to know the very tiny differences between those big words which are hard enough to memorize.
Sounds really hard and terrible, but Cailan's doing a great job.
Trying to.
Okay, on a scale of 1 to 10, how hard is dental school?
Dental school, I would say, is at least an 8. I say an 8 because it's definitely the hardest thing I've ever had to do school-wise, and I feel like that would go for anyone that goes to dental school. The reason I don't say it's like a 9 or a 10 is because it's doable. You just have to put a lot of time, a lot of effort, a lot of dedication. I feel like everyone who's going into dental school understands that. It's not like it catches you off guard. You know what you're getting into, you know it's gonna be like this, you know it's gonna be hard, and so you just put 110% into it. So it's doable, definitely doable, but it's gonna be the hardest thing you've done up to this point.
So would you say then that it's more important that you're hardworking and less important that you're naturally smart?
Absolutely. I feel like some people can get caught up on being naturally smart where it doesn't apply to dental school. Everything you're doing, at least hands-on, is new to you. You might pick up on it quicker than others, but at the end of the day, you still have to put in so much time and effort. And then the classwork too. You can be naturally smart, but the amount of information, the wealth of information that flows in and that you have to regurgitate and know down to the small details and understand, not just surface level, but in depth. It's enough to where if you get the mindset of I'm naturally gifted and naturally smart, you might fall behind. And I feel like a lot of people learn that their D1 year, and now they're on top of it because they know I gotta be on top of it, gotta be ahead of the game, gotta be on it.
And what do your weekends look like? Another question would be, how many hours on average a day do you like to study? Or do you study, not do you like to study?
I'll start with the studying one. On average, this year, I spent anywhere from 2 to 4 hours preparing for the next day's classes and reviewing what happened that same day, and also trying to be proactive with what's going to be happening in the next following days. And that just goes with the basics of, we went over something in class, I quite didn't understand as much as I thought I should, I review it. The next day, I know I'm going to have a quiz in the class because you have quizzes all the time because they want to keep you up on the material. So I say 2 to 4 hours because I'm using that time to review what I've done that day, to learn and to understand what I'm going to be doing the next day, like in lab and in class, and then trying to be proactive for the rest of the week and the following week if I have an exam or something, trying to be on top of it, get ahead of the game. Last year, I feel like I really kind of burnt myself out. I studied on weekends nonstop, and it was just exhausting. And so this year, even though I have way more classes, a lot more to work through, I kind of made a promise to myself that I'd be on top of it, get ahead of schedule on most things, and then reserve the majority of the weekend for myself to do whatever I want to, whether it's just relaxing or going out on a date with Abby or...
Wow, you go on dates?
On occasion.
Wait, you have friends?
Barely.
Oh gosh. The good news is all your dental school friends know what you're going through and they're going through the same thing.
Yes, and I feel like everyone's kind of on the same page in dental school now, that we've all kind of figured out what we have to do, where we have to be be successful, but also not burn ourselves out and have no social life. Because don't get me wrong, you're not going to be able to have as much fun as you used to on the weekend. But that doesn't mean you don't get to have any fun. Yeah, you have to sacrifice some weekends if there's a really difficult test coming up. But for the most part, you stay ahead of the game, you're on top of your stuff. You usually have the weekends for a social life, to have fun, to do fun things.
Good, because you need to do fun things.
You do, or else you'll be burnt out and you will not be having fun. Even if what you're doing interests you, you will not be having fun if it's 24/7.
It's very true. Okay, so really important question. What's your favorite color scrubs that you wear?
Gray.
Nice.
At U of L, they gave us 3 options. There's black, gray, and red. I didn't even get the red ones because I didn't really like the red ones. And also, what kind of patient wants to go to the dental school and see a student with red that looks like blood and is about to give them an injection? No, I don't think that works.
Yeah.
So, gray and black, and gray just I like the most. It's just like a neutral color, and I enjoy that one.
So you're saying that you're boring and you like gray scrubs?
Yes, that's it.
Great. Good for you, Cailan.
Thanks.
At least you're admitting it.
Come here, bro. Come here, boo. Come here. Come here, buddy. Come here. Come here. Come here. Come here.
Oh yeah. He'll be here for our last question. He's probably gonna bite Cailan's face off. Okay, the last question I want to ask. Never mind, let it go. He hates Cailan.
He's angsty.
He is angsty. So the last question I want to ask you is, do you have any advice for prospective dental students?
Work hard, put 110% into it because this is it. Unless you're going to a specialty, this is your career. This is the last straw, the last step. You gotta get through it. But at the same time, don't burn yourself out. You gotta leave some time for yourself. You gotta find something interesting to do. On long days after school, I promised myself I'd go to the gym pretty much every single day. And I do, and that just helps me feel a lot better. And then I told myself after D1 year, I would be on it to the point where I could actually enjoy it at least a day or two on the weekend. And you've gotta do that. You gotta give some time to yourself or you'll burn yourself out and you won't be having any more fun. You won't enjoy it. But you should enjoy it. So leave some time for yourself.
Great, that's a great. So you'd say it's more important to have a good time instead of burning yourself out in dental school.
Absolutely. You'll enjoy it a lot more if you give yourself that time and you're more mentally prepared that next week to put your all into school because you actually gave some time for yourself.
Self-care, guys.
Self-care, it's really important. It's more important than you think. You won't be tested until you get to dental school and oh boy, does it test you.
But you think that anyone who puts their mind to it can be a dental student?
1000%. Dental school is all about determination and giving 110% and putting all of your effort into it. It's not about being naturally gifted, naturally smart. It's not about being all of that. That helps, the bonus. But at the end of the day, it's your determination, your willpower, your dedication to being there. That's what counts the most. Because you will have times where you fail. Everyone has it. You have so many things every single day. There's things that you're gonna fail at. You're gonna fail at doing a preparation. You're gonna fail at doing a restoration. You're gonna maybe even fail an exam or not do as well as you wanted to. So that's okay. The point of it is you just have to keep trying, keep giving your all, be optimistic, leave time for yourself, and get her done.
Great, that was really good advice. Thanks for being with us today, Cailan.
Happy to do it. It's fun. Oh, you're still here. That's too much. Oh. Thanks for watching our episode of Day in the Life of a Dental Student. Make sure to like and subscribe. Oh. Hey.
Pick up my face. Hey guys, how are you doing today? So today we're going to be doing something a little bit different. We're going to be interviewing my boyfriend, Cailan Jones, right here.
Hey.
Okay, your face is cut off. Cailan, we have to do that again. Okay. Can you see both of us?
Yep.
I was angling myself like this, but I should probably try to be more like an interviewer. I guess I like to turn towards the camera and look like this. Anyway. And maybe you should sit forward in the chair. Because then they can see your face better. I feel like the easier you can see your face moving, the better. Okay. Maybe scoot up in the chair a little farther. Yeah, do that. Do that.
Now I'm uncomfy.
Well, that's too bad. You're explaining things. You're supposed to be uncomfy.
At least get a pillow.
A pillow for what?
My back. That's fine. I had to go to the chair up.
Fine.
How about that? Is that good?
I liked it better when you were leaning forward. Yeah, do that. Okay. It looks more personable. You know what I mean? Okay,